The number 2 top story this week is Phoenix Wallet available again in the U.S. From Scoresby, 26 comments, 4,696 sats in Lightning territory. Keyan, what's this?
Yeah, so there was some kind of press release from the White House saying that I think they shut down crypto task enforcement in the Department of Justice, something like that. And, with some very choice language about the laws being interpreted as written now and not needing this crypto task force anymore. And that prompted Async to return, and now they're back. It's their legal point of view, maybe, that they are they can operate legally in the United States now. And so they are. When before they had left, I think it was maybe a year or two ago, probably like 18 months ago. So maybe about a year. I don't actually recall exactly. But that's when they left the United States over fear that self-custodial services would be prosecuted as money transmitters. And now I think the current administration, at least, does not feel that self-custodial software providers are money transmitters.
Wait, what?
What? You want me to repeat everything I said? Or? I don't know.
Wait, what happened? I didn't hear about this week. What happened? So, recent announcements from the U.S. authorities cast a doubt on whether self-custodial wallet providers, Lightning service providers, or even Lightning nodes could be considered money service businesses and be regulated as such. Where's that order? Did somebody link to it in the post?
That was an order he put out like on his first day. That one but the other thing was earlier in the week. If you go to the top stories, it's probably in there somewhere. But
let me see. Whoa, what is that?
Yeah, this was shortly after he was inaugurated.
How do we close this? How do we close out of this? Donald J. Trump. All right, there we go. So, it's relatively short. By the authority vested in me, purpose and policies, the digital asset industry plays a crucial role. Innovation, protect and promote the ability of individual citizens, promoting and protecting the sovereignty of the United States dollar, including through actions protecting and promoting fair, providing regulatory clarity and certainty built on the technology, frameworks, decision-making, and digital assets, taking measures to protect Americans from the risk of stability, individuals. For the purpose of this order, the term digital asset refers to any digital representation of value as recorded on distributed ledger, including cryptocurrencies, digital tokens, stablecoins. The term blockchains means any technology where data is shared across the network to create a public ledger, linked any using cryptography to maintain integrity of the public ledger. Other functions distributed among network participants. Fashion currently updated, composed of source code solely available. This order to the Treasury is directed to immediately revoke the department. All policy directives, guidance issued pursuant to Executive Order 14067 shall take appropriate measures to ensure compliance with policies. Shall be shared. Appropriate, consistent, optical law shall remain by the heads of Executive Treasury Department orders shall submit. Yeah, this isn't saying anything about that.
Yeah, that's because this isn't the post this isn't what they're talking about, as I was saying when you were looking for this. When you were looking for this, I was like, that's a shortly after inauguration thing, and they're responding to another thing that happened this week. But
yeah, where's the one from this week?
That's what I said. Look in the top stories. It's probably somewhere in there. Over the last few days. Maybe in politics and law.
Politics and law.
Yeah, here we go.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Just sort of scraps. You get crypto units Trump. Since this one? No, not that one.
That's it. This is, basically the day after this, or the same day. That's when Async came back.
North Korean Foreign Trade Bank represented charge of crypto laundering. 2 federal indictments were unsealed today in district attorney. Charges announced today respond to innovative attempts by North Korean operatives to evade, exploiting technology features, virtual assets, facilitate payments, profits, targeting virtual currency companies for theft. According to court policy documents, conspiracy and OTC. The first indictment involves a conspiracy between SIM to launder stolen funds of virtual currency. Today's indictments reveal North Korea's continued use of various means, U.S. sanctions. According to court documents, engaged in methods exploiting laundered crypto. FBI will continue to relentlessly pursue them.
Everything that
justice.
Every random article he clicks on.
According to court documents, the Reconnaissance General Bureau.
I don't know why.
I don't see it. I don't see the part where they talk
you clicked out. The article was describing it. You just clicked a random link in it, and then you started reading it. This one. So this one discusses it, and you have to click on the right one. There's probably a link in the press release from the Department of Justice in it. There's a link to the full memo. No, not that one. The other one.
Let me see.
It was right. See that third paragraph.
Third paragraph.
After fortune in italics, it says link with blue
this one here.
checks.
Oh, here we go. We got to it. Digital assets industry is critical to nations. Thus, the Department of Justice is not a digital assets regulator. Oh, okay. However, the private administration used the Justice Department to pursue reckless. Oh, love that. Did you see that? The Department of Justice is not a digital assets regulator. However, the prior administration used the Justice Department to pursue a reckless strategy of regulation by prosecution, which was ill-conceived and poorly executed. Oh my God. Can somebody frame that? Look at that, dude.
Mm-hmm.
The Justice Department would no longer pursue litigation or enforcement actions that have the effect of superimposing regulatory frameworks on digital assets, while President Trump's actual regulators do this work outside the punitive criminal justice framework, rather consistent with President Trump's directives and the Justice Department's priorities. Department's investigations and the prosecutions involving digital assets shall focus on prosecuting individuals who victimize digital assets, investors, or those who use digital assets in furtherance of criminal offenses such as terrorism, narcotics, and human trafficking, organized crime, hacking, and cartel and gang financing. There you go. I mean, I guess theoretically, I don't want to say theoretically. I guess in hindsight, you could say that Phoenix will still have to run some sort of, maybe not light KYC, but they will have to run some sort of maybe some sort of amboss type of surveillance of some site to make sure there's none of this going on. You think that's safe to say?
No, I don't think there's. I mean, I think maybe in the future, I think that you get another administration in here, but this language is pretty clear that, in addition to other things they've said, that self-custodial services will not be punished under this administration.
Well, then how do they maintain this? Because it says right here, rather consistent with Trump's directives, the Department's investigations, prosecutions involve digital assets shall focus on prosecuting individuals who victimize digital asset investors or those whose digital assets further criminal investments. So how do they prevent this then?
It's kind of like we will enforce criminal offenses where people shoot people. They're not going to put gun makers in jail for that. That's basically what that's saying. If people who shoot people, you're going to jail. They're not. If that's what they say, they're not saying that we are going to put gun makers.
No, that language. That language feels kind of. I'm not a lawyer, but that language feels kind of like. It feels very like could be interpreted all over the place.
I mean, of course, if they want to go after someone, they can.
They can use that language to go after.
Yeah,
them.
I don't think this isn't a law. This is a memo. So there'll be.
I mean, let's just say hypothetically, Wallet of Satoshi comes back now, right? Hypothetically, Wallet of Satoshi comes back tomorrow. Somebody can run a North Korea wallet or whatever. Then all of a sudden, they could use this language to go after Wallet of Satoshi, right?
No, this language, they would go after Wallet of Satoshi for money transmitter laws. That's what they would, because those are the laws this doesn't change money transmitter laws. Because money transmitter laws pertain to custodial services, or that was the understanding before, and that's what this administration seems to be kind of going back to, is that money transmitters require custody, and Phoenix is not custodial, so they are not subject to those.
Okay, wait. Just one more question. Bear with me, because this is for the stackers, not really for me, but kind of for me. All right. So explain to me the difference between those two real quick.
Difference between a non-custodial and a custodial wallet?
Not that. Between why Wallet of Satoshi would have to, if Wallet of Satoshi came back tomorrow, would have to get a money transmitter law.
License. In 50 states.
Yeah.
If they want to have customers there.
Yeah. And not Phoenix.
And a money service business at the federal
And
level.
not Phoenix, even though they have like a centralized node that uses.
They're not custodial.
Well, yeah, they're not custodial.
They don't have control of people's money.
But they use a lightning service provider.
Yeah, but they do not have, the lightning service provider does not give them control of people's money. They are not in possession of people's money and to give it to other people on behalf of the person. That is money transmission. That is not.
It's like having an ATM, basically, is what you're saying. Hey, John, welcome back, dude. Doing good, man. We need to catch up. Yeah. Probably not. No. But yeah, I'll check back with you next week. Yeah. Just John from all over the place. What was I going to say? Yeah. So, explain to me that. So would it be more like, because it would basically just be like an ATM that you're going to get.
The main thing is Phoenix never has custody of people's money. Wallet of Satoshi, that's primarily what it does, is it has custody of people's money. That is the difference. So the laws up until this point, Async and Phoenix were interpreting the laws such that not having custody didn't make them subject to money transmitter laws, so they felt comfortable in the United States. Then that changed with the prosecution of Samurai Wallet, where some of the language in the indictment was such that even people who don't take custody can be money transmitters. And now this administration is signaling that they will not be writing laws through the Justice Department. They will not be trying to change the laws with prosecution of someone like Samurai Wallet.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this right, so you're saying that the reason they left in the first place was because this Justice Department, the United States Department of Justice, was working outside of their jurisdiction of a sort, to go after these different wallet providers or these different coordinators of a sort that were facilitating payments that could be perceived as, terroristic or narcotic or whatever they wanted to do to say that, hey, there's some sort of transaction or some sort of like nefarious activity going on here, when in reality there probably wasn't, just so they can say, hey, we got you, man. And not speaking for Phoenix, but saying they're just like, you know what, we're just gonna exit stage left because we don't want to chance ourselves. But now that Trump has signed this thing saying, hey, yeah, there was some sort of craziness going on, we're coming back. Is that right or no? Did I explain that right?
I didn't follow it exactly. He said there were a few different things in there, but Yes, it seems like the United States' legal posture towards non-custodial service providers has changed, and Phoenix came back. We won't see Waldo Satoshi come back. It's still, even under the most generous interpretation of the current laws, Wallet of Satoshi is illegal. It is explicitly forbidden in most states, and they would also need federal licenses that I believe they do not have. So,
Yeah.
I'm also not a lawyer, but that is my understanding, having talked to lawyers about these things.
Cool. Well, thanks for explaining that. That was fun.
Anytime. Well,
No, it wasn't fun.
Well,
I enjoy this stuff because it's like, it's probably like super simple for normal people, but for people like me that don't really pay attention to this stuff, and that's not in the weeds about this stuff every day, that haven't spent the past year and a half working on this stuff, it's good to get clarity around it again for the 100th time. So thanks for explaining it, Coob.
well, it's cool. Phoenix is back. I'm happy Phoenix is back, and that is good news, because they have probably the best non-custodial Lightning wallet on the market. And if you're not going to run a node, it's probably the best thing you can do right now. Aside from maybe using Aqua or one of these, not really, not exactly a Lightning wallets.
Yeah, this was just like 4 days ago.
Do you think Phoenix is profitable?
Oh, hang on, let me turn that on. Go
Their
for
node
it.
is-
Go for it. Ask that question again.
Do you think Phoenix is profitable?
I would guess not, but I would guess they have a great treasury strategy, and they do make pretty good fees.
Okay.
Like basically I think at minimum every transaction they make 1% of all the money that goes. So if they can get a market size the size of something like Visa, who charges on the order of 1%,
Yeah.
they could probably be a pretty profitable business, because they don't have to do as much work as Visa does, really.
It's a very political week this week on Stacker.News.
It was just one post about Phoenix, and then you started going to a bunch of government websites.
But what's the less work they have to do? Like regulatory filing?
Yeah, they have to do a lot less regulatory work. They don't have to. Merchant onboarding is not really something they have to do one by one, sort of like Visa did. Visa. It took Visa a long time to grow, but their growth will happen as a result of Bitcoin adoption growing and merchants wanting Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So it should happen somewhat naturally for them.
I don't know. I feel like they're
it's
like
not proprietary.
I feel like they're like
their technology isn't proprietary, so they benefit from that.
I feel like Phoenix is just
Definitely.
far superior. I don't know.
It is good. It's definitely good. I wonder if they make their map according to because how you're drawing the example of Visa. I wonder if that's how they understand their trajectory, kind of.
I don't know. I read a really interesting story about how Visa grew.
Yeah.
There's